Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Makakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, this is your brother Dawah from the Men of Valor Camp here in Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video on sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing, it can be edifying. All right, and I got this article from Zero Hedge. Check this out. It says U.S. Crown Royal relief was enough to give every taxpayer $41,870, but we got peanuts instead. And the title of this video is "Your Master Gave You Crumbs, man." All right, because you got Jake out here acting a fucking fool. All right, over a damn stimulus check. All right, 1,400, and that's of course that's still more, because we're in poverty. Okay, as a whole, as a nation, we're in poverty, man. We don't have anything. We don't have a sovereignty. All right, so I can see why Jake would get excited. All right, about getting a little bit of relief, man. Hey, brothers, have used that money to help. The Lord has sent that to ease the affliction a bit, like the scriptures say. For our light affliction that is but for a moment. All right, so brothers are doing okay right now, but nonetheless, as a nation, we're still through. All right, and they passed out these $1,400 checks, and even to the women that have children, all right, getting those 1,400 apiece. All right, that's still crumbs because what did it say? And I'm gonna read into it. It says the U.S. Crown Royal relief was enough to give every taxpayer $41,870. All right, it says, but what? But we got peanuts instead, man. All right, and they're gonna break it down. It says President Biden just signed his sweeping $1.9 trillion spending package into law. Once this bill hits the books, total taxpayer expenditure on what is that? Austin Sibley, the crown relief will hit $6 trillion, which roughly estimated comes out to $41,870 in spending per federal taxpayer. All right, it says, did you see anywhere near that much in benefit? Of course you didn't. It says the sheer immensity of this spending is hard to grasp for context. And basically they're saying all the stimulus packages combined, right? All right, it says for context, $6 trillion is more than 1/4 of what the US economy produces in an entire year. All right, so they're damn near spending more money than they're actually making, man. All right, they're spending a good chunk of it. All right, not to mention that there are trillions of dollars in debt. It says according to Fox Business, the crown spending blowout is at least 8 times bigger than the inflation adjusted price tag of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal. All right, which that was a big thing back then. It says moreover, the crown spending bills have all lost huge sums of money to unrelated carve-outs, politician pet projects, corporate bailouts, fraud, waste, and worse. In the latest $1.9 trillion package, more than 90% of the spending is not directly related to containing Crown 19. Only 1% of the money, about 15 to 20 billion, is spent on vaccines. It says, meanwhile, hundreds of billions go to bailing out poorly managed state governments' budget holes that predate the pandemic, and 86 billion rescues failing pension plans. Meanwhile, billions were to go to Obamacare expansion and subsidizing public schools long after the pandemic. All right, it says the math doesn't add up. It says the number here really are quite damning. For the same $6 trillion in expenditure, the government could have given each federal taxpayer a $41,870 check. Or to think about it a bit differently, it could have written every American, all right, so taxpayer or not taxpayer, every American roughly an $18,181 check. But did you see that? I see you got Jake out here turning up, getting all crunk and shit over 1,400. But this one bill, this 1.9 trillion dollars, almost $2 trillion. If it went to the people that they claim it was supposed to support, instead of bailing out these all these corporate companies that are trillions of dollars or billions of dollars in debt, all right, putting money toward other bullshit, filling their own pockets. Which shows you that Esau still doesn't give a fuck about you. He's giving you crumbs. Instead of them doing that, if they would have gave the money directly to the people, which they claim they so fervently care about, each person, each American was supposed to get a check for $18,000, man. And hey, you might not be able to quit your job off that, but that's comfortable living, man. All right, it says let's compare this to what most Americans actually receive. It says only someone who fully collected expanded unemployment benefits throughout the pandemic and received all 3,200 in total of the stimulus payments likely received more than $18,000 in direct benefits from the spending package, and that's a relatively small fraction of the public, right? So there's a small amount, because they've been getting the unemployment benefits as well. So they're saying some people probably did receive that within this year's time, but most didn't. Says because of the way the government used outdated and arbitrary income data to determine eligibility, many more taxpayers saw nothing or little to in exchange for their $41,870 share of the cost. All right, because this debt goes back on you. You think it's just free money, but you're a taxpayer. All right, we're subject under payments. And actually, let's start off. Let's see if I can find that scripture real quick. Right, so I want to grab it. I'm gonna grab this in Haggai. If a brother know what that scripture is about being subject to payments, I can't think of it on the top of my head. I know this is in Haggai though. Let's get this because Jake is over here in poverty. This is Haggai 1:6. It says, "Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink." Right. Hey, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have been placed under these curses. Right. And this is one of these curses. You're not gonna have enough, man. It says, "But ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages." All right, so he that goes out and works and to make a living. It says, "He that earneth wages, earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes." So as soon as you get your money, man, you gotta pay bills and hey, you gotta pay for food, pay for water, all these different things. You know, you man, it's rare that you even get to really hold on to that money like that. And that's now some people situation might be different than others, but we're speaking about the nation as a whole. You go to the hoods, the barrios, the reservations. You see Jake is out there through, man. Drinking 40s and shit. You know. But the point is, man, here in this captivity, man, we don't make enough money to live. It's like what I do. We don't make enough money to really live. You make just enough to get by. All right, really, the mindset of getting paid every 2 weeks is wicked. All right, because the scriptures say, "Give us this day our daily bread." We're supposed to, pretty much get paid for that labor that day, man. You're not supposed to be having to wait 2 weeks to get a check, man. Esau does that shit to keep you coming back. All right, gives you just enough to pay your bills, but not enough to the point where you could just walk away. And that's wickedness, man. But going back here, all right, it says because of the way the government used outdated. Well, I just read that. It says so for almost all Americans, the actual benefits of the multiple pieces of lengthy stimulus legislation come in far, far below the figure that they would have received. An entire pile of money was just even split up and sent out. How can that possibly be considered a success? In fact, it's actually a net negative. Hey, they gave y'all ass crumbs, man. All right, once again, this $1.9 trillion stimulus package was enough to give every American $18,000. So why didn't you get an $18,000 check in the mail, man? Why didn't you get an $18,000 check? You got 14 instead, and then last time you got 6, and the other time you got 1,200. Okay. It says trade-offs are inescapable. Too often, the stimulus conversation is simply framed around whether we should give money to certain groups of people or program, rather than also including the trade-offs and costs. The question isn't just should we send people $1,400 checks or stimulus checks. It is instead should we spend or send people $1,400 stimulus checks at the cost of taking the equivalent amount or more if you factor in waste from other people. It's not just whether we should send $350 billion to state and local governments, but should we do so at the cost of taking an average of $2,442 per federal taxpayer? And of course, they're going to take from you to feed their own bellies, man. All right, it says the government is not Santa Claus. All right, and that's just going to finish it off. It says money doesn't grow on trees. All right, but hey, if you Esau's printing money like it's going out of fucking business right now. Money, by the way, that isn't worth anything. It's a fiat currency. It's not backed by gold at this moment. You know, it's just accepted as money. It says money doesn't grow on trees, or as the great economist Ludwig von Mises put it, the government does not have the power of the mythical Santa Claus. You know, whatever. It says the truth is the government cannot give if it does not take from somebody. Mises wrote in Bureaucracy. They cannot spend except by taking out of the pocket of some people for the benefit of others. And that's what they do now. It says the government cannot create wealth out of thin air. Seems like they're doing it now though, but it's not true wealth, of course. It says it can only give anyone anything via three ways: directly increasing taxes, which discourages economic growth and directly takes money away from people. It says running up debt, which is what they're doing, which means much higher taxes in the future, plus interest, creating a drag on economic growth. So this whole everything going back to normal and the economy getting back, no, because they've been running up this debt lately. So it's going to take, even if America was to go on, which we know through the spirit that it's not, all right, the economic growth would take twice as long, man. They passed three, all right, stimulus packages within a year span. You know, almost $7 or $8 trillion worth of debt that has to be paid out or paid back. It says in the last one, printing money, which still taxes the public via inflation, right, which causes inflation. And that's what, and they've really been doing all three of those, man. All right. It says there's no such thing as free lunch, and much to the chagrin of spend happy politicians, Santa Claus is not real. Government spending doesn't create wealth, it only transfers wealth, generally destroying a lot of it in the process. So unless Americans are actually seeing equal or greater benefits from spending compared to its costs, it's a raw deal for the taxpayers. And for the federal government, COVID spending binge, it is not even close. Don't believe me? Well, did you see $41,870 in benefits from these programs, or even 18,000 for almost everyone? The answer is no. And I read all that to show you, to say, Jake shouldn't be out here getting all turned and shit for nothing, man. Let's grab this because you could have gotten more. Esau, you think Esau loved you so much? Why he didn't give you more then? Nobody has an answer for that. They're not even concerned about the fact that these different super huge companies got all these tax breaks, man, and just were giving money, billions of dollars without. And I saw that they don't even have to cut staff or anything, man, in order to keep that money, or they don't have to keep staff anyway. All right, this is Isaiah 31 and verse 1. Or actually, I want to do verse chapter 30, Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1, it says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take a counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right, our people aren't seeking the Lord right now. They're not worried about it. And right now, they're in more of a state of ease than really ever. All right, they getting their tax money, they got their stimulus, people taking trips. All right, they buying this, they buying that. But what are they not doing? All right, everyone outside of the people of the Lord that are seeking his face. Just that, man. They're not seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Why? Because they're not being afflicted right now. All right, things are opening back up. Things are looking up, so to speak. 2020 is behind us, and we're moving forward. No, because what does the scripture say? When they shall say peace and safety, then what? Sudden destruction cometh upon them. So, hey, the people of the Lord. When I say people of the Lord, I mean the hopeful elect. All right, us that are fervently seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right, we know that. All right, although everything's looking like it's going back to normal. This is part of prophecy, like the brother Bakar Moth was doing a video on. You know, something very bad and horrible is coming that these people don't see it because why? Yahweh Shem Shah likes to deal with the element of surprise. He likes to catch your ass lacking, so to speak. And he's about to catch, all right, the whole 2/3 of our nation, as well as these heathens, man. He's gonna straight blindside them, you know. But our people aren't taking the covering of Yahweh Shem Shah. It says, verse 2, that walked to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. Right, they going to ask Esau to continue to help them. You know, now if they gonna send these checks out, then whatever, spend them. But we're not going to Esau to beg him for shit, man. All right, soon we're not gonna have to stay upon Esau. All right, when the deal goes down, all hell breaks loose. All right, we're gonna be trusting solely on Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. All right, while we're still in this captivity, while we're still going in our day-to-day lives, man, you know, we use the world as not abuse it, as the scriptures say. But we really can't wait to be able to walk away from this. All right, because this man's fall is the beginning of our rise, man. You know, verse 2 again, it says that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. All right, and these people are fucking confused, man. They don't even know. Don't the scripture say never trust thine enemy? Are you thinking you thinking he gave you a good deal? You thinking he gave you just because he gave you a couple thousand? All right, you know, which was really your money. You're not, you're only seeing a portion of this shit because you're gonna have to pay it back. All right, there's a reason nobody's really gonna get a tax refund next year because you got it now, man. All right, and that's when shit you really gonna start seeing things fall apart. All right, because you best believe Jake ain't going to pay they pay their rent and pay their utilities and stuff off with that money. No, they going to buy big ass TVs and taking trips and shit. But Esau eventually he's gonna pull that rug under him. He's gonna pull them off life support, and scripture say those that consent unto him, all right, shall be had in derision and a reproach and trodden underfoot. Hey, Esau gonna snatch these benefits away. He's gonna remove that eviction moratorium. All right, when the money dries up, and then what? That big ass elephant is still in the room. All right, where he's gonna say, "Hey, you need to take this. You need to roll up your sleeves for me, man." All right, everybody out here rejecting it. They're not really enforcing it right now, but soon they will. Just wait till that money starts drawing up, especially for Jake, because they're saying you're the problem. Biden made it clear. He said Negroes, Latins, Latinos, and Native Americans are the most vulnerable to this so-called disease, man, or this virus, this viral infection. Therefore, you need to be vaccinated. And if they're not going for that shit, what are they gonna do? They're gonna come down on you. You see? But they gave you crumbs, man. That was enough money to give every taxpayer 41 grand, or every American $18,000 check. But you did not see that. You know, just think about it. All right, but Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Wakakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.